It has been over 4 years since Centre decided to truly integrate Jammu and Kashmir with India. Today, the Apex Court is all set to decide whether the decision to abrogate provisions of Article 370 of the Constitution were constitutionally valid. Numerous petitions challenging withdrawal of the special status as well as creation of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh as union territories were referred to a 5-judge constitution bench. During the hearing that started on 2nd of August, the Apex Court asked who can recommend the revocation of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir when no constituent assembly exists. The concurrence of the constituent assembly is required before taking such a step. However, the special body's term ended in 1957 after it drafted the state's constitution. Let's take a look at what the pleas are and what is the stand taken by the centre on abrogation of Article 370. The Supreme Court is going to pronounce its much-awaited verdict on whether the abrogation of the provisions of 370 were constitutionally valid or not. It was a 5-judge bench that in fact heard the entire matter. A bunch of petitions were forwarded to the 5-judge bench, and they of course have gone through every aspect to what the petitioners have said, what the centre's stand is, and we are waiting for the judgment to come out today. Let's take a look at what the pleas are. As far as the petitions are concerned, their argument is that the Constituent Assembly did not recommend abrogation of Article 370 versus what the centre has said. This is what the centre stand is on that particular argument. The centre says temporary provision expired when the Assembly dissolved. So according to the centre, 370 is a temporary provision. The plea says the Constituent Assembly did not recommend the abrogation. It also says precedent after recommendation from assembly. So it says that the recommendation has to come from the assembly first, after which the president can take a call on abrogation of 370. Centre stand is precedent not bound by assembly recommendation. So please says recommendation has to come from the assembly. The centre says it is not bound, it is not mandatory that the recommendation has to come from the assembly. So that's the argument that the centre has presented. Let's move on. Let's take a look at more pointers. No different law making powers. That's what the plea says. What does the centre say? Centre says yes, synonymous in context of Jammu and Kashmir. These arguments have been presented. The court is going to decide on whose argument was more constitutionally valid. Petition: no, can't reduce the state to union territory as per Article 3. You cannot reduce the state to union territory. The centre says it can very much do that. The centre has the powers to reorganize. It has the power to change the state into union territory. Plea says no merger deal has internal sovereignty, and the state says retained autonomy, surrendered sovereignty. So these arguments have been presented by the centre. This is a counter to this particular point coming in from the petitioners on the abrogation of Article 370. We have Harish joining us as well on the broadcast with more details. It's a very, very crucial decision on constitutional validity of abrogation of 370. We just spoke about the pointers, the arguments presented by the petitioners and the counter that came in from the centre. Harish.
Yes, that's right. Good morning, Swati. As you rightly said, the landmark historic judgment will be coming out at 10:30, and it's going to have a massive implication on the politics of the entire region, Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. At 10:30, 5-judge constitution bench led by Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, will be delivering the judgment, all-important judgment on a batch of 23 petitions which have challenged the constitutional validity, legality of the abrogation of Article 370 and also bifurcation of the state into 2 union territories, Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. There are some petitions which have also sought a direction to the Election Commission to hold elections as early as possible. Remember, during the hearing, the bench had posed several questions to the centre as to why don't you give a timeline, a time frame as to by which democracy will be restored in Jammu, Kashmir, and also by when can you restore the statehood to Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh, and because your UT status cannot be permanent. So the centre had said that as far as a time frame for restoring the statehood, it cannot give a particular timeline, but Ladakh will continue to be union territory, and very significantly said that it is ready to hold elections. Right. Even Home Minister Amit Shah is recently in Parliament said that they are ready to hold elections.